Okay guys, so I'm back day 2 to answer all of your questions. Also back with a red wine just to get in the mood because some of these questions do get deep, but I will answer them anyways. I'm just gonna continue on from the questions from YouTube. Okay, I had to find the question where I left off last. So Esther says, if you weren't living in the city you are living in, obviously private, thank you, which other German city would you like to live in and why? I made a video a very long time ago called Why I Moved to Germany, and I did answer that question then, but it's been like years now, so I can actually re-answer that question. Aside from the city that I'm living in now, I would really love to go to Berlin. I think Berlin is very international. I've been to Berlin like 4 times. I love Berlin, and I think Berlin is the city where I don't feel the most, you know, like I stand out, you know what I mean? So Berlin gives me the vibe of, you know, I can blend in, I don't have to always be the center of attention, and sometimes not in a positive way, just because, you know, I do stand out. So when I've been to Berlin, I honestly felt, you know, like I can just be a normal citizen, a normal person, just walk in the streets and just being myself, and that's really the vibes that I get from Berlin, as well as a lot of, you know, Germans themselves and other internationals say that they love Berlin, and it's kind of like it doesn't even belong in Germany. That's always like the answer that I get when I ask, you know, what do you think about Berlin? So I definitely want to live in Berlin. I don't think any other city really has my attention other than Berlin, to be honest. Cursed Lights says, I'm in college currently and I have to study abroad briefly. I wanted to go to Germany. I have a few contacts there and my German is fairly good. My question is, how did you tell everyone that you were leaving, like your family? What was that conversation like? And I briefly mentioned this before in my other videos, like why I moved to Germany, but basically it was kind of an easier conversation to have with my family because I did study abroad. So I did student exchange to Austria for half a year, then I did a student exchange to Germany, and throughout those exchanges I already was telling my family that I love Germany and that I want to, you know, move abroad to Germany. And so I was already like preparing them and building them up since my study abroad. And so when it was finally time, they weren't so surprised. And as well, when I came back from my last study abroad session, I had a year to prepare before I moved actually to Germany. So my family actually had a whole year to prepare of me leaving to Germany. So it was really a simple process, not really simple, but it actually flowed quite well because I have a storyline, you know. It wasn't random, it wasn't abrupt. It was just like there was time, there was reasons why, you know, I loved it and I wanted to give it a try, and so they were prepared. And that's basically how I brought it up to my family. My only recommendation is to first of all come to Germany for like 3 weeks, 2 weeks if you can, for vacation. Test it out. Like that is the best thing that I can suggest, because that's basically what I did. When I went to Germany, that was my last study abroad, I lived in the area that I'm living in now, and I knew the area. Like I lived there for 6 months, so I knew where I was going to be moving to. I knew where to go, I knew the shops, I knew everything, you know what I mean? So it was not so random. But for you, if you just move here abruptly and you don't even know like what type of neighborhood you're coming into, that could be sketchy. So I would suggest, first of all, before you even tell your family that you want to move here, just make sure this is really what you want to do. Like visit, test out the area, and then, you know, once you made up your mind, just approach your family. Just say, this is something that I want to do. Obviously you're gonna need time to prepare to move, right? Like to save, find a job that might take, you know, 6 to 12 months. So you can give them that time to prepare and just make sure that you let them know that this is serious, you know, you want to move abroad. And I think they will take it as best as they can, but I'm sure they'll be supportive of you. Still Homeschooling says, may I ask, what do you think would be the best career paths to go into or perhaps major in college in order to sustain a life of living abroad? I want this for my children. They love when I play videos about traveling, yet I'm clueless as to how they could earn income if they are not in their home country of America. Thank you in advance. Again, I can't really give the best advice. I can only give my opinion, so please don't take anything that I say as law. It's just my opinion. I don't have any, you know, back information from online or wherever. I'm just giving you my opinion on what I see. But for the south of Germany, what I really think, the south of Germany is also the most industrious part of Germany. I think this is where all of the working business people are. I would think if you want to sustain yourself abroad, obviously you can teach English abroad. That's always an option. It won't be the best paying, but you can sustain yourself abroad. So that's always an option. That's how I entered into, you know, my abroad life. But I have an English major, so an English degree, so that kind of made sense for me. So there's that. And in the south of Germany, it's quite, you know, there's a lot of engineers here, a lot of IT. So if you wanted to come abroad and really sustain a good life, I would say maybe look into engineering, look into IT, look into software development, maybe in that path, but don't just take that path or push that path onto your kids just so that they can sustain a life abroad. Whatever path that they choose, I think you can still possibly find a job abroad in that field. It just depends where and if the job will take you, if you pass the interview process. Like there's a lot of moving parts to that question. But I think what I would really say as the biggest takeaway is that don't look at what career to choose just so that you can make it abroad. Just live your life, pick the career path that is interesting for you. When it's your kids' time, make them pick a career path that's very much what they like to do, and then if they really want to move abroad, just look abroad, look on LinkedIn and look and see what is available abroad in the country that you want to move in, apply, interview, and then you just move abroad. So that was all of the questions from YouTube. I'm just gonna go to Instagram because I got a few questions there. Okay, so for Instagram, I won't say the usernames just because I'm sure people want to stay anonymous there. So this question is, what does your family think of you being a full-time blogger? I was like contemplating not even answering this, but I'm not even a full-time blogger, so that doesn't even bother them, and I don't think they don't have an issue with it. They're my biggest supporters. My mom especially. Like I originally had a blog online, so like writing, you know, and I wanted to put my English degree to use, so I was like, and I love to write, so I was like, okay, let me just document my life writing, and my mom was there for me. She was supporting, she was rereading my articles, and then after a while I was like, no, this is not for me. I don't like writing about my journeys, my travels. It takes too long. I just don't feel like doing it. And then I went into YouTube because I wanted to, you know, videograph everything that I'm doing in Germany, and my family was right behind me, supporting me. Like they're just like, speak your truth, say everything, don't hold back, do something that would make you happy, make you feel fulfilled, and YouTube was that. So my parents are definitely and my family are very supportive of me, and if I am a full-time blogger sometime in the future, I think they would be just as supportive. So no issues there. Next question. Hey Zoe, how is the salary scale in Germany different from the US, and can you also speak on the benefits? Like this is a broad question and I don't have the answer to that. That would mean I would have a scale. I would need the salary scale for like every position. So I get a lot of questions like this in regards to like deep into the industry and things like that, and I get a lot of questions about a lot of industries like IT, doctor, engineering, and unfortunately I don't have those answers. Like I live in Germany, but I don't know everything, and I don't know everything about every single career that's, you know, here. So unfortunately I can't answer questions like that, and I don't think I'll ever answer questions like that in the future just because I just don't have the knowledge on it. So this question is, which is cheaper to live, Germany or New York? I think this is a valid question. Obviously Germany is a lot cheaper. I think the quality of life is higher and the prices for things are a lot lower. So obviously, you know, but New York is like it's a different type of atmosphere. New York is New York. Like New York is just expensive. But living in Germany, apartments are a lot cheaper compared to New York. I know people like to come at my neck if I say something like that, but compared to specifically New York, apartments are a lot cheaper. Groceries by far are a lot cheaper. Like groceries here are very, very affordable. I also think, you know, buying a car and leasing a car, like things like that is also a lot cheaper. I found like you have a lot more deals, I think, compared to the US. So overall, to answer that question, I think Germany is just a lot cheaper. Someone asked, do I play any sports? I don't play any sports in Germany. I'm still looking for a volleyball team, but I am in the gym now, going around 3 times a week, so I am doing that. So this person says, your page and content aesthetics is absolutely goals, tips for developing a page style. Thank you for that. I'm trying. Like, it's actually very hard to create an aesthetic page without, you know, being too dull and being too boring, because I still want to show you guys my life and show you, like, you know, real situations, real pictures that I take, but then you're also trying to like make this aesthetic, you know, that is pleasing for the eye, and sometimes it can look a little bit crazy, but it's actually a very, very hard thing, I think, to accomplish. So thank you so much for that comment, even though I think my page is just, you know, it's a work in progress. I would say the only tip is to plan your pictures. I use this app called Preview, and it has all my pictures already from Instagram, and I can put some potential pictures that I want to post on there, and then I can organize and see which, you know, layout looks a little bit more pleasing to the eye, and then I try to plan it like that. This person says, will you ever move back to America? Potentially, maybe in the future, I don't know. I think I'm quite a nomad. Like, I really just go where the wind blows me. Like, if there is a opportunity with work, if there's an opportunity to be a full-time blogger, like if I have monetary opportunities in America, I would move back to America. If there are monetary, you know, opportunities like presented to me for somewhere else in Europe, I will go there. If there's somewhere, you know, in South Africa, I would love to move to South Africa at some point, but that's like a dream, you know. Yeah, if there is some type of monetary opportunity, I'm there, you know. If someone presents me something, I'm there. But if there's nothing on the table, there's no reason for me to go there. But I think retirement, I'd probably move back to the States, and that's as far as I've thought about going back home. This person said, how are you getting on with your microlinks and natural hair? Obviously I don't have microlinks anymore, and I made a video about that, so you can definitely check out that video to, you know, hear all about my thoughts on microlinks, and yeah, just check out that video. I'll be linking it somewhere at the top. This person said, in German, do you speak German? If yeah, how about a YouTube video in German? I guess that would be cool. I feel like this is a good question to address. I keep getting a lot of questions about that, like speaking German. I can speak German. The issue with me making a video in German is I've watched a lot of, you know, other Americans who make these videos, and they get a lot of negative comments about like how they speak German, or, you know, the grammar mistakes and and obviously everyone there's a good positive comments like, oh, don't worry about them, don't care about them, whatever. But it's always a different thing to speak your daily life in another language online publicly and then have people come judge you. This is not even your native language, and I feel like it would be negative for me, like a backfire, if I get any of those comments, because obviously my German is not native, and you're obviously not, you know, I'm not on a native tongue yet, and then if I get negative comments, like, it's just not going to be good for my mental health, because my journey of obviously learning German was very, very difficult. I'm so proud of where I am now, and then if I get some, you know, negative comments about how I speak and, you know, my grammar mistakes, because for sure there's going to be some grammar mistakes, it's not perfect, I think it will actually lower my self-esteem with speaking German, and that's just not what I want. Like, I don't want that. But yes, I can speak German. It's at a B2 level. I don't know when I will make a video, like when I'll feel comfortable enough to make a video in German. I don't know, but it will happen when I feel like it, not when, like, you know, the public says, you know, speak German. This person says, when will you take your boyfriend to Jamaica? That will happen at some point. In another video, I already spoke about it, but whenever we get married, I wanted to, you know, get married in Jamaica, just so that I have, you know, something of my roots. I have a strong, you know, I want to show him as well where I come from, and yeah. So I think we'll go to Jamaica, obviously, if we ever get married. And we did plan at some point, like, vacation, like we thought about having a vacation in Jamaica, but flight tickets from Germany is not cheap. Like, it's $1.50. Like, it's really something to go from here to Jamaica, and I think I've seen some good deals, but they're like at random times. Like, it just doesn't match your schedule, so it's really just about like expenses right now. It does not really financially make sense to go to Jamaica. But this person says, I'm moving to Germany soon. What are the sites you use to find your apartment? I would recommend 2 sites. There's one called 𝗂𝗂𝘁'𝘀𝗀𝗃, and this is like shared apartments, so you would just rent out a room and not the whole flat. And if that's what you're looking for, it's more or less like more affordable than getting your own flat. So if you can afford a whole flat, I would go to 𝗵𝗂𝘁'𝘀. The second one is called 𝗰𝗲𝘁'𝘀𝗿𝗀𝑑𝑒, and this is where you can look to find a whole flat. You can also look to rent a house, buy a house. I think you can also buy land there as well. So that's where I go to look because I want, you know, to rent a whole apartment, not a room. So I went on 𝗰𝗲𝘁'𝘀𝗿𝗄𝑑𝑒, and you can go there as well for, you know, like I said, flats. This person says, what was your experience like as a student in Germany? Well, funny thing, I'm a student now, but it's like a different type of student. But when I was in my student exchange in my undergrad here, it was exceptional. Like, I had the best time. And I don't know, I heard this from one travel blogger. I don't know if it was a website or if I saw it on YouTube, but they're like, if you visit a country and like for 6 months and you don't have any feeling of, you know, feeling oppressed or any racism within that 6 months of you like visiting, or that short period that you're visiting that country, then it's a, you know, it's an okay country to live in. And obviously this doesn't apply to everything, but I had that in my mindset when I was first in Austria. Like, if I felt any type of racism within like the 2 weeks, 3 weeks of me being there, then I know like, okay, I'll never ever step foot in this country again. But when I went to Austria, like obviously I was the only, you know, black person around. Yeah, I was literally the only black person around. There were some Hispanic people around as well, but they weren't like dark skinned, so they weren't, you know, noticeable basically. But I experienced like zero racism, like zero. Like nothing. I felt so comfortable. I felt so safe. I made so many friends. I had the best time of my life. Like, it was just a lot of fun. School was also really interesting. I got to travel. I saw so much, met so many different people from different walks of life. It was amazing. And then after that great experience, I was like, I want to try it again. And a friend of mine was like, you know, when you do two things, you know, when you do something twice, it's never as good as the first time. And I had that in my mind when I went to Germany. I was like, this is probably going to be it, like where it ruins, you know, traveling for me and going abroad. Again, I came to Germany. I didn't feel any racism. I didn't feel any negativity. I just had the best time of my life. Like, it was just magical. And I had scholarships as well, so I had like a lot of money as well, so I wasn't like that poor struggling student abroad. So it was just all around a great experience, and that's the only thing that I could say about my student exchange. Obviously, you know, living in a country for longer than 6 months, you know, things arise. You guys can see that in my videos, but pertaining to this question, I had a really, really great time. This person says, do you talk English or German with your boyfriend? And we speak in English. And I just want to put a disclaimer, like, I don't want any comments underneath saying like, oh, to improve your German, you can just speak German to your boyfriend all the time. This is like our relationship. We met in English. Like, I wasn't even living in Germany. We met in English. We just continued in English because we met in English. Like, I didn't know any German, and that is just our relationship language. You know what I mean? And I don't want any comments trying to like force me to do what I don't want to do. This is just what we do because we met in English. This is our language. I know a lot of other couples are the same. Like, it just works for us, so that's what we do. And then sometimes we do speak in German when I feel like, you know, I just feel like I want to speak more German, then we speak more German, but that's our main language. This person says, I want to be friends with you. Listen, if you were listening for this whole video from the very beginning, I said I don't have any friends anymore in Germany. Like, I'm at null, like I'm at 0. I would love to be friends. I would love to make friends. It's just finding the time to like do these meetups, and I also don't want to be the initiator anymore. And I feel like it's just my personality to always be like, you know, initiating, but I just don't want to be initiator anymore. I'm open to being friends. If we ever meet or see each other in the street, I want to be friends too. Ooh, this is gonna be a long video. I'm sorry. So the next question is YouTube a good source of second revenue apart from your salary? And I think if you're making like 20k views on your video, like each video, you know, regularly, I think it's a great source as a second revenue. Already I feel really happy with what I'm making from YouTube. It's not a lot. It's like pocket money. It's like a lot of pocket money. So it's not like a little bit, it's like a nice, you know, it's like a nice amount of money. And it's also, you make money without doing anything. Like I post this one video and maybe it's, you know, just 2K views now, but over time, you know, you still are making money. So I love that part about YouTube. And yes, I do think it is a nice source for a second revenue, definitely. But you just have to, don't go into it with the money thing, because you won't make money off the bat, you know. This person says, how to get started on a perfume collection like yours. Honestly, it just naturally built up. Like I did not buy everything at once. Like I just accumulated over some time. When I got bored with one perfume, I just started to look around and experiment on other perfumes, and it just built up, you know, organically, just like that. So I would just say go to, you know, Macy's or 𝗏𝗏𝘁, wherever you are, and just start smelling perfumes, and maybe you find that one that you love and you start with that one. And when you get bored of that, you go back and you start smelling some scents, and then, you know, you just build up like that. This person says, how do you balance work and vlogging? It's actually not as hard as it seems. You know, I work and I vlog in between. So the good thing is that now I'm working, you know, from home. And so when I take a break to make lunch, I can pull out the camera and vlog. When I'm getting ready in the morning, I can pull out the camera and vlog. On the weekends, I can pull out the camera and vlog. The only thing that kind of contradicts is if I do sit down videos. Those have to be done like right after work so I can catch some daylight, or on the weekend. And then, you know, editing as well has to come after the work day. A tip there I try to do is like edit bit by bit every day, so it's not too much, but that's how I try to balance work and vlogging. All right, so I think that's gonna be all the questions for today. I feel like this video is gonna be so long. I apologize, but there are a lot of questions and I wanted to answer the most important ones, or the most asked questions. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Of course, leave your comments below in the comment section. I'll try to answer further there, and I hope you guys are staying healthy and safe, and I'll see you in another video.